Well, all these miniature models that I've been building all started with this steam engine, and this was the very first steam engine I've ever built. Love the design, love the simplicity of it. It was a lot of fun building this, and this is one of the early cast iron models that I did. This is a PM research kit. The action is very smooth and it runs on a very low PSI when you fire it up. Very much enjoyed this build. Moved on to some machine tools. The engine lathe was a little more than I expected. Awful lot of work in this guy. It's like 140 pieces in this, and this is a functional machine, by the way. This has got back gear and forward and reverse auto feed, longitudinal auto feed, nothing on the cross slide. Graduated dials on all the cranks, 4-jaw independent chuck, and there are videos on all of these builds. I have a playlist called The Gallery if you want to go and see actually the final build or the full video on each one of these models. That's where it is. The display piece that PM Research has for their lathe has these little dials, but they are not included in the kit, nor did they give me the dimensions for the dials, but each line is graduated to an accurate 1/1000th of an inch cross feed. It's a very challenging kit, and not a kit I would recommend as a first try for anyone doing this. The mini arbor press was pretty easy. You can see the time frame on this. It took about 2 weeks to do it, and probably because it takes about that long to file all the flash off the castings. But the castings came out really nice, and naturally you get out of it what you put into it. Throat plate rotates for different sizes. And just like any Dakey arbor press you've ever seen, simple rack and lever on the side. To make this more authentic, I should take that arm and bend it, because most of the ones you see are tweaked. Great little kit, good confidence builder if you're looking for a model to start with. Start with this one. And the guys at PM Research will send you extra pieces if something happens or something's missing. Pedestal grinder was fun. Real short build as well. This was an 8-day project. Not 8 continuous days, of course. But all the little detail did present a lot of challenges in holding all of those small parts. The bucket is an addition. Naturally, you go into any shop anywhere, chances are you're going to find a glass of water, a bucket of water, a pan of water, something that you dip the tools in, because they get pretty hot when you grind them. So I thought it was only appropriate to put a bucket on this one. Those wheels are a rubberized Kratex. They are not stone, but they certainly look like stone. The pulley in the center is the drive pulley. You will have to take this thing apart to hook it up to a line shaft or an alternate power source. But I'm sure that once you do, you can use this to buff the edges of some Holland tools. Without a doubt, my favorite build so far has been this miniature drill press. The ornate features here, the sweeping rounds, just really took me by surprise and presented a world of difficulty trying to fixture this and keep everything in line. It's got a fine feed, it's got a coarse feed, it's got lever feed, it's got 4 speeds. The table goes up and down, it rotates. Just a fantastic model. The detail on this is truly admirable. This was, like I say, my favorite build so far. Just have to say it's my favorite. As far as the machine is concerned, it's just a beautiful piece of work. This was also a multi-part series video on my channel. And everything on this has been detailed in case you decide you want to challenge yourself and build something as a good one. The Mini Shaper. Gotta say I learned more about this machine building this kit than anything I've ever built. Everywhere you look on this particular model, there is something going on. There are cranks and levers and lead screws and adjustments and cams. Every square inch of this model. This is a fantastic kit. Very challenging. The front of the machine has a bunch of T-slots in it. So if you're very patient, you may get through all those T-slots with one tool. I was very lucky. I put it up on my CNC and flooded it, so that worked out pretty well. Side door's got a cam lock on it, just like a regular machine door. I even made the hinges. The gear mechanism inside has 3 different positions to adjust the stroke of the ram, and the ram itself is adjustable with the crank in the back. Table goes up and down with a pair of bevel gears connected to that vertical conical lead screw. You see where my right index finger is at the bottom. So right now the table's going down, and now the table's coming back up. As the ram oscillates back and forth, there is a ratchet power feed mechanism for the table. Watch the little handle and the crank. That particular pawl design, that little mechanism in the center of the screen, is custom. It's not per print. The one that was per print was a little flimsy and functional, but I wanted something more robust. You can reverse that pawl, get the pawl off the gear, and now you have a manual feed. Without the pawl engaging the teeth, the lever is very easy to move. Tool post on the top goes up and down just like a real one. Little clapper block on it so that the tool does not drag on the way back across. What machine would be complete without a working functional miniature vise, right? Why not? This one also fits the drill press, but I thought it was more appropriate for long-term storage to put it on the shaper. It just looks better. I'll have to make another one. There are plans for this. I believe the plans for this are on my Patreon page. Plans for the little mini vise, that is. The brass cannon. Well, I got to say I took a couple of days off in between this one. This project did not take 3¼ years. It took about through 2 months, I guess. But it is highly detailed. There's about 70 pieces on this, believe it or not. And the only eyelet on this that was store-bought is the one I'm pulling on right now, the one in the back of the elevator block. That is just a standard cup hook that I closed up with a pair of needle nose. Everything else was made from scratch, with the exception of the chain. Trunnion straps are held in place with a wedge on both sides. And I believe that in the field, this was for changing out the barrel and transport. And the barrel goes back on just as easy. Sits down the nest, the trunnion straps come back over the top, the wedges go back in, everything is tight. This was not a kit. I designed and dimensioned and machined every piece on this. It's walnut. Excuse me, no, it's mahogany. It's mahogany and brass, 100%. All the bolts go all the way through the frame and secure the little straps that hold the axles to the main body of it. The wheels are tree-panned out with inserts, wooden inserts. Everything is stained. It's stained with a real dark walnut color stain, but it is a mahogany wood. The pins holding the axles on appear to be tapered because they're larger on top than they are on the bottom, but they're stepped pins to give that illusion. They are not tapered. A brass hub around the wooden axle keeps the axle from splitting, gives it a lot more support. It makes the wheels come on and off real quick. And back on again. This little ring has a larger hole on the top than it does on the bottom. And when the pin is installed correctly, not like that, let's flip it over. When the pin is installed correctly, it will pass down through the big hole, through the axle, and the smaller piece comes out the bottom, making it look like a taper pin. It was just easier to do it that way. It's a heavy little model. No cannon would be complete without a set of cannonballs. These are brass. I know the thing on the bottom is called a brass monkey. Why it's called a brass monkey, don't know. But that's what it's called. And goodbye. Final build in the little machine series recently was the Stort D10 vertical steam engine. It was a gift. And I got to say it was one of the finest gifts I think I've ever received, not only for what the gift is, but for the experience of having built it. It was a lot of fun. This is also a model not for the faint of heart. A lot going on here. The single is probably a better starting place if you want to build one of these. Start with the single cylinder version. But the twin cylinder is just really cool. There will be no actual running footage of this model in this video. If you care to see that, by all means check out the playlist, find the Stuart D10, and watch the final series video. That's all I got for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the summary of the efforts over the last couple of years, and I thank everybody that has signed on, subscribed, and left all the positive comments. I am very grateful, and I appreciate every one of you guys. If you're watching this and you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's about the only thing left that's free.